landed in Atlanta, and this is precisely why I don't like travel to Atlanta. I will go to a small city because you have to do the train, the concourses. But I'm not gonna lie, it's nice to be here after so long. It's just really fun. So nice day trip. I don't know if I'm gonna stay for as late as I initially intended because I'm about that home life, and I don't know. But we'll see. I need a cup of coffee first. That's gonna be the biggest thing as to whether or not I'm gonna stay. I need good coffee, like really good coffee. Got up on the rough exit, so one more to go. Oh man, at least they're fast. They are fast. Really beautiful day out here. The wind is blowing. I'm enjoying it, right? So this is a great question, but here's the thing. I cannot give you solid answers for the why. Viewers' behavior sway from 1 month to the next and different seasons, and you have to think that interests change as well. So if you're noticing that analytics or income is down, number one, YouTube has never been my primary source of income. Do we make money from the videos? Yes, but not through AdSense revenue. It's the least way that you can make money, so don't let that be your major way when you're at least creating content to begin with. So dope being here. This was worth the trip. Alright, call me crazy, but I'm back at the airport. I'm getting ready to go home. I moved my flight up. So I'm just like, Atlanta's nice, but I miss home. One thing I appreciate is all the people that are here to help you, because I know nothing about where I am or where I'm going other than it's not in that glass mausoleum. These are my people. Here we go. TSA pre-check. Boom. Don't look down. Yeah, our airport is big. The Chick-fil-A line. What are y'all feeding people? It's look like a concert line. Alright, so it's a good thing I don't have monetization on this channel because I got all the oldies hits playing. But I'm in the airport. Good and bad. I'm going back a few hours early. Essentially, I go home like 2 hours early, which I've done all I wanted to do. And I'm thinking like I'm gonna go downtown, maybe find a park or a bookstore or a book fair. And that's just not happening. It's just not gonna happen, like at all. And I'm in the arena right now, but just try to give everybody some privacy because you know when you're eating, it's kind of like ugly sleep or you ugly eat. So I don't mind wearing a mask, even though like you don't have to everywhere anymore. But as far as I'm concerned, we get a little ugly sleep a little later. So because of that, we're gonna keep it nice and chim cham. You know, what is chim cham? I don't know, but we're here for it. KEH was so dope, and so here's the thing. So I made the wild ask to say, what are the chances that I could see in the back? Like completely thinking and knowing that they're just gonna be like, yeah, that's not ever gonna happen. I was just like, y'all, but I posted like this. I'm not trying to be sneaky or anything, but I'm just like, what are the chances that I could actually see in the back? Maybe where y'all work on cameras, evaluate things. I don't know. You go, you tell me. And so he was like, yeah, we don't do that. He's like, we're trying to, you got something planned or you want to do something? I'm like, no, I'm just curious. I'm like, I love it. I've done business with KEH before. When it comes to selling my gear, I'll look at the other brands and stuff like that. And obviously you want to go for who you have the best deal through. But for me, that's always been KEH most of the time. And so when I'm doing business with somebody, I really want to get a feel for that company and just see if it's something I really am interested in or not. Like long-term and stuff like that. At this point, like when you're being, I don't even want to say influencer, it's more like entrepreneurship, honestly. Influencer got tacked on because of social media, and so they feel like that's the only method or chain that you do this. I was an entrepreneur long before any social channels became prevalent, if you will. And so because of that, like it almost feels dismissive. So I never go with that. I'm just like, consider myself an entrepreneur. And so because of that, I'll start looking into what company am I working with, what company am I doing business with, and then what is it like really like to work with them. I didn't tell them I had a channel or hey, I have over 17,000 subscribers or nothing like that, because it's not about clout building or producing. It's really just honestly about building a relationship. I don't doubt that I'll come back here at some point and come back and do business with them again. I really wish though they had like a window or something so you could see stuff, but obviously like for safety reasons and all of that. So, but it was cool. My introvert meter got full pretty quick, and once I was done with the camera, I'm like, yeah, I think I want to go home, because number one, to Uber out to all these different spots or whatever, it would be like $30 or $40, and that's including with like an $8 to $10 tip just to tip somebody well, even if the trip is short, because one of the trips like to the coffee shop 10 minutes maybe, and because of that I'm still trying to give like an $8 or $10 tip, and I'm just got the status like a top tipper on Lyft, and I'll use Uber and Lyft and just see like, so when I booked the ticket a couple days ago, I honestly wanted to come out yesterday, but I messed up the flights and had it reversed. So it had it as if I was leaving from Atlanta first instead of St. Louis, which is what I needed was for St. Louis. So the next best date would have been today. And the cool thing is when you're flying a lot, like I personally prefer Southwest. I've been like that my whole life. Anytime I've flown anybody else, it just doesn't feel appropriate. But the fact that everybody has now where are these connecting flights, and you got to stop off here, like, so this one isn't a non-stop flight. My one back home wouldn't be a non-stop flight anyway. I would have to leave earlier, like at 11, and there was just no way to make that make sense. So instead I'm going to go to Tennessee, because this is why I don't do a layover here. This airport is massive. Like, it is so much to this. You got these trains with the concourse A, B, and everything is lightning fast, and it just makes me appreciate home that much more. I always loved the St. Louis airport, and like the pre-check line was bizarre. I'm like, are you sure? But then you see everybody else in the glass mausoleum. Nah, buddy, not interested in that at all. But being here makes me, one, appreciate home more, and number two, I'm glad to have got a chance to come here. The one thing that I'll say is the fact that I got like maybe 2 hours before boarding time. I'm going to spend some time dream building, because one of the things that I noticed on the drive over here is a lot of the dreams that I've had since I remember sitting in the cubicle and like dreams and stuff before, I'm checking these off, and it's kind of like I'm starting to run out of them. So it's crazy, because people think like goal setting, dream building, that stuff is just something that you do to make yourself feel better or whatever, and it's not. It's like personal development works if you work it. Growing a business works if you work it. Being in community with people works if you work it. All things work if you work it. And so I just been extremely blessed to have this opportunity. Anybody that I'm like channeling, like, oh, have you been here for a day? Or are you heading back home? And it's like, no, I've been here for today. Well, literally only today. And I'm going home. And it's like, you just came here for like a day? Because I know like we're so used to monetarily only looking at stuff from the standpoint of what makes the best financial sense. And I think it makes good financial sense to do that. I didn't have to spend any money for the flights here. I had points accumulated. And so this is the first time I've used my points to fly anywhere. And it's just been such a blessing to, number one, do that. Number two, have the flexibility to maneuver the flights, like, oh, I don't want to wait until 8 o'clock at night. Let me go home at 4, or start at least getting home at 4, and I'll land at 8 o'clock instead of just getting on the plane for the first time. So, but the most important thing is kind of like how the mastermind was. Like, we have a private podcast in I almost said the podcast name. I used to do a morning show called Entree Chats Daily, and instead I did that to launch the 2.0, if you will. We do a private daily podcast in the community, and a video simplified community. One of the things that I talked about is like secrets from like the mastermind training that was at Ray Edwards' event. And so I was sharing different things, but one of the things that I'm just like, again, just kind of downloading this whole day in this experience is just the idea that when you start checking off your goals and you start doing the things that you asked and prayed God to do, and you see the fulfillment of those things, those days matter to me. And so, like, I've been sitting here vlogging, like 8 minutes or whatever. I care nothing about what anybody thinks in that way. You still feel some kind of way or whatever, but at least I do a little, just slightly. slightly, a little weird, but not a whole lot though, because I'll never see any of these people again for the most part. And if I do, they'd be like, hey, like the lady at the what was it, in the bathroom? I was like, she's like, did I see you with the camera earlier? That's so cool. And just, you know, having a genuine conversation. So the one thing that like people think about like with having a camera, sorry, I'm just checking my messages. You are a hero when you have a camera and like you're vlogging and stuff. And by golly, that feels good. So it's just really cool. It is really cool. So I'll have to do this again, but today was enough. You know, I'll be glad to get home and be with my family. But I love this. This is the life I prayed for, and I'm living it. So I'm just super blessed and grateful. Super blessed and grateful. Had a fantastic day today, but if I'm very honest, I'm so glad to be back home. And what a beautiful time of day. The sunset, all the beautiful colors, so pretty.